I'd like to tell you about a client named Michael. Now, Michael stuck with me, I can tell you, for years because he was actually one of our very first clients when I started the firm. And Michael stuck with me for a number of reasons. I mean, probably the best reason is because he was such a good guy. But Michael's case is a perfect example of, I think, the horrible things that insurance companies and people who are at fault do. When I first met Michael, he was actually in the hospital, and he was paralyzed from the waist down. And Michael was, at the time, 21 years old. And what happened was Michael was out with a friend of his, and they were going from party to party and bar to bar. And Michael was a passenger in a car, and his friend was driving. And certainly, neither of them should have been drinking and driving. Certainly his friend shouldn't have been driving if he was drinking, and Michael certainly shouldn't have been in the car. And I'm not going to tell you that he should have been. But what happened was, late at night, after they had had way too much to drink, Michael was in the passenger seat, and the car was driving way too fast down the road. And the driver of the vehicle lost control of the car. The car rolled off the road and out into the desert, and Michael was ejected out of the vehicle. His friend who was driving actually stayed in the vehicle and was fine. He, I think, came to in the vehicle, noticed Michael was no longer in the vehicle. He crawled out the window. Keep in mind, this is the middle of the night, and it's dark. They're out in the middle of the desert. The driver's friend, Michael, is nowhere that he can see. Nowhere. He doesn't know where he is. And instead of his friend doing what he should have done, which was calling for help and finding Michael, his friend just started walking down the road. He was going to leave Michael out there because he didn't want to get in trouble for drinking and driving. And about 10 minutes after the accident, an off-duty sheriff's deputy was driving by and saw this guy walking down the road. And he stopped. He talked to him. He couldn't get a straight answer about what happened or where the guy had been. Called the rest of the police out. And he never admitted that there had been an accident. He never admitted that Michael had been ejected. And Michael was actually found because a helicopter found his heat signature out in the middle of the desert. And then Michael was taken to the hospital and he was treated. And from the second this happened, his friend denied ever driving. And he actually told the police that Michael had been driving. And it was all Michael's fault. And the police investigated, and it was a he said, she said situation. And they just left it at that. And then all the insurance companies involved took that exact same position, which was this was Michael's fault. He was the one driving, so they shouldn't have to compensate him for his injuries. Keep in mind, you now have a 21-year-old who's paralyzed from the waist down, whose life has been changed forever. And we fought that case for a number of years. And we sued everybody we needed to sue, and eventually we made everybody pay. But no one made it easy. And no one other than us had Michael's best interests at heart. That's what we do.